Hi Sherry, I'm just trying to figure out why I can't post any of this. And this is why I hate YouTube. Okay. Or I'm not used to it. Alright, will that work? Oh, okay, that worked. Not sure why I wasn't able to send the other thing, but whatever. Alright, so now I just got to get the link and share it on my channel. Yeah, I don't like how this takes forever to load up or to figure out. Will that work? Volume. Alright. So, let us get my link. We'll take it over to Facebook. Oh, for fuck's sakes, I do everything wrong here. This is so dumb. Just share this link, damn it. Copy. Now go over to Facebook. Facebook. With my slow signal. And make a post here. Link. Paste. Come watch me paint the dog sober. No swearing. Appropriate for human children. Alright. Oh, I should have said I was live. See, this is the only thing so far I hate about YouTube. First of all, I need better cameras in this because the clarity, it's not as good as my iPad. It's just, the iPad's way more clear. Edit post. Live on YouTube right now. And I spelled children wrong. That's not good. There we go. Okay. Saved. And now I can actually close Facebook. And this is what my YouTube Live looks like. Okay, so I have to adjust this then. The delay is horrible. YouTube Live is not going to be the greatest thing in the world, but it won't be bad for videos, that's for sure. Well, I was hoping this was going to be able to be wide enough. What's going on? Why is this? Oh, that's why. Damn it. This moved and I didn't want it to. That's what happened. Okay. Okay, well, I was trying to find a way so you could see the dog I'm painting as well. But seeing as I can't seem to do that, might as well move the camera a little closer there. No. I suck at this, man. you just get there, please? Thank you. Oh, man. I hate sucking at stuff. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I like it because I can watch on TV. Yeah, I like this too. It just sucks getting used to it. That's all. I gotta turn that just a bit so I can. All right. Well, here we are. I just don't like how it doesn't seem to be overly focused. Maybe that could be me. Well, here we are. We're about to paint. So, you know, whatever. We made it. We're live. If anybody wants to be a part of the tipping thing, great. But I don't think anybody's really watching. Oh, this bothers me again. Because you're seeing this in the background instead of... You know, just paint your picture, Dave. Don't even worry about it. Just stop. I need to know what this looks like on YouTube, though. And it's getting so... Okay, that's not too bad. Like, it's really almost to the point where I just want to quit. But I have to get used to this, I guess, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. Alright, so we're going to start with some colors here. So this is going to be for Patreon. Now, the only thing that sucks right now, because Patreons at the $10 level, they get these videos, right? Where I just start to finish and show you everything I do step by step. But to build up YouTube, stop looking at that camera, look at this camera. To build up YouTube, I have to put them on YouTube public at first. But my audience is tiny, so don't worry. And then eventually it's only Patreons. I just got to get the things to put my stuff there. Anyways, those are just things. So anyways, I'm using for this, I'm using teal. We're going to get some teal in there. And we're going to use some titanium white. And I like to use cadmium red. It's one of my favorite. And tiny bit of purple. It's like I like the light purple. I got both. I got dark and light, but I like the light because this is very light colors we got going on here. Where's my yellow, bro? Oh, there's my yellow. We're using primary yellow. And got a bit of black in here, but we're not going to use very much of it. And anything left over I can use for different videos. I love this. Burnt sienna. It's just like so many colors for a dog, Dave. Yepers. Certainly are. It's a lot of paint, a lot of colors. Now, what's going to be my favorite part about this gotta find them. Oh, here we go. There's that one. Now I just need the blue one and we're good. I guess I could use this if I have to, but I really want the other one. Found it! Sorry guys. Alright, so, and we're also going to learn how to make a warm black here. I love how I was putting it up to this camera, but it doesn't. Oh, I guess it doesn't. It's not so bad, but we're going to use raw umber and ultramarine blue. Now, this is, you mix these two together to make yourself a warm black instead of, because black is very, very, very powerful. So there, a little bit of each of those. So now we can see my color palette in total. Let me just see the screen here. Can you all see that? There we go. Now look at those colors. Ooh, bright light. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, that's nice. Nice. Okay, so got them all there. Now I'm going to take my spray bottle. Now this is one way to get your acrylics from drying so fast. It's also another way to, I like to do a lot of layers with my acrylic. I don't like big gloppy thicknesses. There we go. So I just put a whole bunch of water in there, spray it in there, my trusty little bottle, and I start mixing the white first because then it's less likely to compromise colors as they get darker, right? Stir, stir, stir. I'm trying to stir. I don't want to lean it too much because, anyways, so I'll go yellow next. Stir. So just stir them up. Just get them nice and moist. I guess they were already moist. Yeah, I didn't use orange in this because I'm not going to use very much orange. So instead, I'll just use what I have, which is the red and yellow, and I can just make a little orange if I need it. Plus, I have the burnt sienna. So the oranges I'm going to use in this, if any, well, it will be, but it'll be very minimal. They're going to be kind of like a rusty colored orange anyways, right? So that's good enough. All right. This is the non-exciting part about painting, where you got to stir all this stuff in. It's like, okay, we get it. You're stirring. But you know what? This is going to be for Patreon members, so that if they want to paint along, they can watch this anytime. And it's not a time lapse. There's no nothing. And you can just kind of slowly kind of figure out what I'm doing. Again, I'm in no way a good teacher, not at all. But if you can watch me step by step, there we go, clean that off, and then I just got to mix a little violet here. You watch me step by step and pause and not miss anything, then that's pretty good, yeah? I think so. Alright, now I got all my paints mixed, oh, except the teal. There we go. Alright, so I got them all mixed here, right? I don't want to lean too much, I'll spill them all. So now you can see instead of just one chunk, it's like more flowy, right? And I like flowy. I don't know if that's a technical term in the art world, but that's how I like my things. So now I got my image here on the screen. I was trying to set it up so that you guys could see the image I'm working from and this at the same time, but I think for that I need another camera. And I got the camera, but I don't know how to set it up yet. So that means another arm maybe coming down from here, but I don't have the money to order that. That's another 50-60 bucks, and until I become super famous, we got to do things slowly but surely. All right, so now here there's some white highlights at the edge. So the background of this painting normally, like from the original photo, is all white. Like it's so bright white, it's hard to see some of the white of the dog actually. So what I did is I changed it to a light gray, and I'm going to use some of that gray. Now this part is already a little light gray. It's kind of like a blue gray because the light source is, according to the photo, it's somewhere up over here. It's like almost like over there and behind. So to make our gray, let's just take a little bit of red, take some yellow. Now I'm compromising the yellow a bit, but that, oh wait, sorry, I should be up here. But that's okay. So now we got it kind of orangey. Add some blue to it. Let's get some more blue in there. Nice dark blue. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to add a tiny bit of black. And some white. Oh, I forgot, I should really have two whites because I want a pure white near the end there. So by using red, yellow, blue, a little black and white, Look, I got a nice gray there, nice rich gray. Just get some more white here, because I do like having an off-white. Oops! Ah, I dropped my cap. I do like having an off-white, and I'll make that now. So I'll take this gray and I'll mix it into one of my whites, right? And because it's going to be a blue one, I'm going to take some light blue, maybe a little dark blue, and then more of that gray. And so I have a very light gray, I have a gray, and then I have white. So we're all good. We got everything we need. All right. So now, because it's already gray, it's going to be really easy to cover. You know what I'm saying, bro? So I'm going to do the dark parts of the gray first. So if eventually you paint along with this, one of the good things about putting see the color of a background, this is just me. There might be other proper ways to do it. Just take anything I say with a grain of salt. I paint with how works for me. I'm a high school dropout, and I don't know how you're supposed to do half the things properly. But I do know some things, and I also work with, and I'm working from experience, what works well for me. So now I got the dark parts done. Now I'm going to go light. Oh, and the reason, so this gray is a blue-based gray that I used. Same with the ones I got going on here. So now I'm going to fill up this area. Now I'm going to take some of this blue, just go over there, wherever the places are going to meet. Now again, is this a professional? I don't know. Oh, I'm a professional artist. Oh wait, no, I guess I am that, but I just, I don't know how you're supposed to do it professional. I just do it. Anyway, so now I just slowly start blending them together. And unlike when you have your acrylics just thickened right out of the tube, because I've watered them down, they are going to take a little longer to dry. So I have a little time to play here. And that's why it's easy for me to just splat some paint on the stuff. See how these two grays and this light blue teal work really well together. This is what I also call wet on wet shading. I'm pretty sure that is a real thing, and that's probably what it's called. But I love it. I like doing my shading this way. Also, I'm going to, YouTube sometimes has a problem downloading the videos. That's one of the reasons why I get frustrated with doing YouTube Live as well. Sometimes they'll be like, yep, you can download your own video. Other times they're like, nope. Which is really weird. It's just a glitch, right? But it's a pain in the ass, and I've looked all over on YouTube to try to find a solution, and there really isn't one. They just have to fix it. And, but yeah, if I can download this one, I'll make a time lapse. But if not, all my Patreons can see it over and over and over and over if they want to learn how to paint. And you know what's great about doing something like this? So I'm kind of grateful with the client that I got a nice straightforward profile picture of their dog like this, because it's great for a video like this, which is like a step-by-step, like just profile working colors. So I'm gonna add a little more blue here because I want it to match that a little more. But again, it's light. I definitely don't want to take the gray part away from the gray parts yet. Now remember, all of this too is going to have a whole bunch of light white, well, off-white on top of it. This is just a base. And part of this is so we can make it really pop, right? If you really want your white to pop, don't use a lot of white until the very end where you're doing like just highlights of the white. You know what I'm saying? Now if you're doing animated stuff, it is a little different, but alright, let me just move this image a bit so I can see the next part better. Alright, so it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to do some darkiness here, a little bit here, and that part which looks obvious now. Now we're going to put some more in here. And then I'm just going to put blue where the dark parts I was going to say intersect like I'm like some smart dude. Sure, maybe that's what it is. And then I'm just going to blend these all together. It's funny too, because when you take paintings and you really just break them down into shapes, right? And spots. It's not as, like, it might be hard still for some people, right? Because it's not a natural thing to be able to paint well. You got to work at it. But there are things you can do to make it easier. Like for me, like I like to break down things into sections so I can just like kind of focus and it doesn't get overwhelming. Look at that. It's almost the same color as that, which is exactly what we want in the sense of our color matchings. We definitely need some more blue in there, but the fact that the gray parts is like, it's beautiful that it's working that way. Beautiful. Dave, what, are you in love with your painting? Yeah, I am. Would I marry my painting? Maybe. It depends if my painting could make me a sandwich. Just kidding. I gotta stop eating carbs. Alright. There we go. Just lighten that a bit. Because we have excess paint on the brush. I don't want to waste too much paint half the time. There we go. And this is nice. And I could darken up here just a little. I don't have to, but I do want to kind of keep consistency with what's up there. So then when I do cover, at least everything's the same. That's another reason to do like all one layer at a time, right? Shoulders a little sore. I was doing a lot of snow. Why am I saying snow shoveling today? And it was like basically like concrete out there. It's kind of crazy. But guess I burned some calories today. I might have put a little too much there. We'll see. Now, if you put a little too much and it gets a little goopy, like you can just go like wipe it off. Well, maybe you're not using your shirt. I got some napkins here. I wouldn't suggest using your shirt all the time, unless you're like me, where you have a paint shirt. But the problem is, once you have a paint shirt, it's easy to make a whole bunch of paint shirts. If you don't really pay attention, you sit down painting, and then you're like, oh man, that was my favorite non-painted shirt. All right, here we go. We're getting there now. Now it's starting to look like stage 1 of cute doggy poo. Oh yeah, so excess, just share it over here. There we go. Who's a cute little doggy? I am. Alright, so now this eye has kind of got a bit of an orange, rusty orange look. So we're just going to do just a base color. I'm just going to put that there and leave it for a bit. Let that dry. And then we cut kind of a rusty, browny kind of, yeah, it's like a rusty, browny, reddy thing going on. So I'm going to use this color, and then we'll tone it down after. I'll just kind of get this in there. So the basic is here, right? Now it's a little darker over here. So what I'm going to do is this. Watch. Because by the time I'm all done, that might be a little too dry. And I do want to do the white on white. So I'm going to take a little bit of the raw umber and just kind of get it in there. It almost looks black, eh? So you spread it out a little. Alright. Now there's some highlights over there, but I just want that shade that was there to just, yeah, look at you. Look at you raw umbering. So adorable. Remember, this is also the first camera here. First layer. So everything's going to change from this. Okay, so let's just cover up this whole area because it's all the same color. This is one of my favorite colors, by the way, to use from that you buy just straight up burnt sienna. I love it. It's so useful for so many things. Especially when you're doing something brown, but not like that dark ugly brown, like this, you know, the rich creamy browns, like, you know, like on dogs, like boxers, for example. This is a great base color, and then build on top of it. It's just really good. All right. Bear with me, I'm just making sure I got the shape right. There we go. And then again, back to some of the raw umber. There's some parts that are a little dark. Now I'm going to do is just try to use the tip more than anything. Spread it out so it doesn't get too lumpy. If you leave acrylic too thick in spots, it dries, you could feel it because it's a texture. It's basically liquid plastic, really. So you don't want it to get too bumpy. All right, work on the ear up here. Get some more raw umber. This is such a change from drinking all the wine and dancing while I paint. Well, dancing in my head anyways. But this is good. It helps me be calm too, and kind of the benefit to me too is kind of, it's almost like getting back to basics. It's like, yeah, remember your thing day. Like my son, I had painted the puffin yesterday, and he goes, wow, that was really, really good. That must have taken a long time. And I was like, actually, it took about 2 hours while I was drinking. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm just kind of getting the hang of it where I can just kind of do things. But, so it was a nice compliment from him. But now, like, you know, slowing down like this, I find really helps to just kind of, I don't know, it's almost like, not retraining, but just keep, you know, trying to keep control of the basics. You know what I mean? So you don't lose them. It's great to paint fast and this and that. It's kind of like if you ever use a projector or a grid. That's fine. It saves you time. Do what you got to do. I'm not against that at all. But once in a while, just to make sure you're still fresh and you still have your basic command of your abilities, do something from absolute scratch. Don't even do an outline. Just like when I did the puffin, or what else did I do around here? Oh, one of the bisons. I did a snowy owl that way. Where I did a horse once where you just go, this is what we're doing, boom, 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 and you just do it, and it's great practice. All right, so I'm gonna just darken up that front of the nose just a little bit. We gotta take care of some little stuff here. Now there's a tiny bit of kind of a pinkish brown, so I'm going to take that raw umber color I told you about, and then put a little bit of red, a little brown in there, and then I'm going to lighten it with, not white, but the light gray. Because I don't want things to be, look at that, perfect. Get the extra goo off, use the napkins, I know, I use my shirt, and then I'm just going to lightly kind of, almost like a pencil sketch, like where I just sketch it in almost. And then we're going to be almost done the first layer. Do it around here. Now, the dog you're working on may not need it, but this one does. And there's a little pink over here too. Nice and subtle. What you doing, subtle doggy? Nothing, just letting you paint me. Thanks, little dog. And there's actually a little bit here, but it's not that so much it's a big color. By the way, my friend Jean had mentioned this earlier, and it's a good tip. If you're ever, I don't have any paper. Darn toot it. Darn toot it all to hecky poo. Oh well. So take a piece of white paper if you're like really trying to see a color. Like if you think something's kind of white and whatever, especially, hold up a piece of white paper to it. And then you go, oh my gosh, that is really stark. Because our eyes play a little bit of tricks on us because we Like, you know, you'll see this dog, for example. If you just looked at it, you go, oh, brown and white dog. But now that you're watching this video, like, think about it. We're using so far, the only color we haven't used yet is the purple, but give it that time. But we've used black, raw umber, ultramarine blue. Again, we'll use purple. Sorry, I'm off camera there. Red, burnt sienna, like a pink, yellow, gray, turquoise, white, another gray. All these to make a dog that normally most people would look at and go, oh, it's a black and white dog. It's like, nope, it's far from black and white. There are so many colors in there. All right. Now we're going to give it just a little slight green tinge here. Not much. This is the color, but I'm mostly saving that to last. So I'm going to take my teal because I just want to like a light green. There we go. See how easy that was? And then to kill the kind of cartoony brightness of it, is take a tiny bit of red because it's a contrasting color. And just put it in there. And see how it just kind of dulls it down a bit? It just takes away that super cartoony brightness, right? All right. And you do that by, so that's contrasting color. So red, if you think about it on the color wheel, I'll try to do it so that's for you. Red, yeah, so I got to do this backwards. Red, yellow. I should get a color wheel thing so I can just show you. Red, yellow, blue. And then directly off, and then you have orange, green, violet, right? Those are the intermediate colors. So right directly across from red is green. So if you're using green and you want to dull it down just a little, put just a tiny bit of red in it. All right? Use a contrasting color. So now you know. What do you think of that? Look at all the science we're learning. All right. Oh, I should check for comments. I don't even know if there's comments. Let's see here. Not even using music. This is crazy. Jean, Poppy's confused. She's watching you on TV and can't figure it out. Yeah, Poppy's crazy. Oh, okay. This is looking good on the thing. I still don't like the. Yeah, I still don't like the. See, to me, that. Oh, look at my hand. See, it's not as focused as. Not as focused as the iPad, which is really frustrating. I don't get it, but. I'm just gonna have to get better camera, man, and that sucks because this was $60. I thought these would be like super good, but I guess they're more good for just like quick eat. Should I cut that now? Anyways, is this all dry yet? Okay, let's focus on this now. Actually, no. Let's focus on the super white edged highlight, just in case anybody has to go. Oh, there's my super dupers, and then this way. You have, so I'm going to get a little in that white there, stir it up. Let me just get my non-wine. Alright, so now we're going to do the... Now, what I want to do here, instead of just pure white right now, I'm going to take a little yellow. Running out of things here. Oh, there's only one more left. I'm going to put some white in there. Alright, so it's going to be more of a yellowy white. And the reason I want that is because I'm going to add... So it'll give it more of a sense of... almost like natural. God, drippies all over, see? So it's not just wine. I drip everything on me. Anyways, so... And then I can add little white highlights to it after, too. And then it gives a tiny impression that it's natural sunlight as opposed to just bright white. This is why you need your teeny tiny brushes. Just slowly let the tip go in. Alright. We're getting there. So, it's also very strange doing these so quietly. I almost feel like I'm, like, what am I, like I'm cheating. Alright, let's highlight the front of that eye a little bit. Okay, oh, and a little over here. Scroll up, there we go. Another thing, I know Jean, if you didn't know, Jean's an artist. One thing her and I both agree, and so I'm sure other artists do. So when people get pet portraits, they often send a full body. Like if you gotta do full body, you gotta do full body. But I prefer, personally, like more of a head and shoulders shot, because I can make it more accurately like your dog. So like if I draw a dog that's far away and you see the whole body, it only takes up this much of the thing, it's going to look like, oh, the camera's here. It's going to look like a generic dog. Like, you know, say a boxer, look like a generic boxer. It looks like I painted a boxer instead of your boxer. So my suggestion is, like I took this, it was, so I'm glad she sent this. And I just cropped it up a bit so we can fit it in. But to me, this is how you want to do them, or straight, or like head and shoulders for sure. But those are the best way to do pet portraits. And then you're spending a little more time on the details that actually matter, that make it your dog, right? Okay. Oh, I'm going to outline those buckles with the same color. Are they buckles? Is that what they're called? The little metal things? Yeah, it probably is, isn't it? And there's something there. There. Now over here it won't be bright yellow because it'll be hiding from the sun. It'll be more like the blue. But I'm just going to give it this. We'll call it just the like an underpainting of that part too. We're going to make that the blue gray white shine thing, whereas this will be the yellow gray white shine thing. Thank you for all this incredible terminology, Dave. No problem. Okay. Another thing that if you can't, another good thing with close-ups like this, what's good is this doesn't look like much, these little blobs, but they're shapes of hearts. So when I give this painting to her, she's going to be like, oh, you even got the hearts. So it's those little details. And it's not that you're even paying this great amount of attention to details. It's just you're able to see them and stuff when you get a good photo that's more close up as opposed to generic, right? Like, you know, you get it, somebody says a collar, can you put their name on the collar? Well, if the collar is this big, it's hard. This isn't a complaint. This is just trust us artists a little bit, because we definitely want to give you the best we can. I mean, you do give us your hard-earned money. We do want to give you some. Plus, it's our reputation too, right? I'm just going to go over this all just a little more. By the way, I watched Karate Kid 3 about a week or so ago. You know, just a little throwback to the 80s, and man, acting was horrible back then. But I mean, you know, it was what it was. I mean, it seemed amazing at the time, but in hindsight, you're like, what? But then these days, you see like reality shows that aren't even real. So, all right, I'm going to give a little bit of yellow. Same thing, like this isn't going to be yellow, but it's like underpainting. It's like priming almost. because it gets a little pinky over here, and just put in the light yellow. First of all, it kind of pulls that out a bit, but it'll also be a little easier to put the shaded colors on top now. And you're always going to see these subtle things, even though you don't realize you see them too. Like, I never used to think of like all these color things, and then once you start learning about it a bit, you're like, holy crap, that's crazy, bro. Alright, now a little blue on top of the nose, because yes, dogs' noses are kind of bluish. I'm going to use a bit of ultramarine as well. Or sorry, kind of blackish, but I mean, it's light bounces off of them, so there's all sorts of crazy cool colors. And again, when it's a bigger picture, I can do this. When it's smaller, I can't. Alright, so I'm going to just go in here a little. Now that's where I'll use pure black, because it just goes right into like a very dark spot. But let us start working on that color I told you about. So take some raw umber. This is, there's white in there. Uh-oh. Alright, we'll just take over that little orange base. So raw umber, which is just basically really dark brown. Ultramarine blue. Say probably about equal parts. I think I compromised it a bit because of that stupid white, but whatever. And this is going to be my warm black. Now, it almost looks black because, yeah, see, it was a compromise just a tiny bit because of the white, but that's okay. It's definitely going to serve its purpose. See, that's much better than putting black, and then when it's time to put blackety black, and they're like in that spot, it's going to really stand out. So some dogs you can definitely see pronounced eyelid almost, I guess. So I'm going to paint that in there, but paint that whole section, and then I'll lighten it up. Instead of trying to get in there, just let your color flow naturally before you're trying to kind of get in and around. It's just easier. Alright. This stuff works really well. Alright, now watch what happens when I put just a little bit of black there. It gets really dark up here. See, now that black really stands out. And it just starts to look a little more natural too, right? Just a tiny, don't overdo it. Slow it down, dude. Take your freaking time, bro. Alright, there we go. Boom. Boom. I'm a duck eyeball. Alright, back to the warm gray. We're gonna, or warm black. We're gonna just cover up some of the nose a bit. We want to keep that blue in there. It's like light bouncing off of it a bit. Also, that warm black, that the raw umber and the blue, great for spots like this. Because if I make this black, it's going to look a little too bold, right? So go in here like so. Follow that little line there. Not too much though. Just almost like you're almost dabbing it. And now I'll add just a tiny black right just near the edges in the top, which would indicate it's further in. Boom, that's it. That's it. No more. So easy, bro. Bro, why you gotta be so easy? Alright. Okay, that nose is a little more squared up. So we're gonna use my raw umber there. There we go. But you see, if this was a small picture, I wanted to have noticed the nose is a little more square at the tip there, because it would have been too lost in the pixels, I guess. Okay. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Now, what's really good too about this warm black, and as you can see, like there's a difference between the two, but it still looks kind of black, right? Well, it's called a warm black. Anyways, now this is great for the little, I don't even know what these are called on a dog. I should learn if I'm going to show people how to paint dogs. I call them the dots. But this warm black is really good for that. Because if it was just black, it would almost look like little holes. Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants their dog to have holes in the face. Sorry, it was a little off. There we go, that's better. Alright. We're going to do some pink shading around the lips, like a pinkish orange. Remember this color? How does this look on your end, by the way? I'm going to go to YouTube here. Not too bad. I do wish it was a little better, but yeah, it's definitely not as clear as it. Man. I'm gonna figure out why. I don't know if it's the camera or if it's me. 1080 though, you would think it. Oh, by the way, I use my finger a lot. I don't know if that's because I'm so used to doing sidewalk art from back in the day that part of me is just like, yeah, there you go. You know what I mean? Alright. See how the colors are working nice and subtle. Well, I don't know how subtle in your face is, but a little pink over here. Then we're still going to go over that with a thicker brush with to do like fur a bit. I know some people like to use a smaller brush for fur. I like to use a big one, and I'll show you why soon. There we go. Super subtle doggy woggies. Alright, so I want a little bit of, what's that? That's the, oh, I guess I got that left over. So we don't mind here, we'll take a little of the gray black, a little of blue, and a little dark gray. Blue. Alright. Because I want a little darker blue, but not quite dark gray. Just a shade in here a little bit. Ooh, that is pretty light. Well, it's better a little too light than too dark, because then it's easier to go over. So I guess I can go with the dark gray here. I'm just brushing right up against basically the light there. So I want to make this light very thin. There we go. Look at me doing all the there you goes. If you just slightly go over areas, this is just going to give like a little shape to the dog's snout. Little spot. Hello, snout. I'm shaping you. What you doing, Dave? Oh, just snout shaping. All right. Snap Shapers! I wonder if that should be a song. There we go. Not getting ahead of myself, I can do that after. Alright, let's do the next layer there on the colored markings. We're going to the raw umber. Just fill in the lines a little bit where and I'm going in direction of the fur, right? And I'll do that with the next color too. So then, if you go in the direction of the fur after the first layer, you're going to save yourself a lot of time, because then you won't have to try to go over it with. See, let's fill that in. Now I want to lighten parts up. There's a couple little highlights. Instead of using white, there's a little bit of blue light coming on the shadowed side, so we can use that instead of white. See, there we go. See, and then when it's time to use white, it's really gonna pop. So that's what we'll do. Raw umber shading. Isn't this much more fun and relaxing than talking about COVID and Russia and trucks and vaccines and all that jazz? I find this much more relaxing. Okay. Over here. Again, we know where the light source is coming from, so it's going to be a little darker on the inside than that side. Again, I'm trying to go in the direction of the ear fur, so it looks a little more natural. And again, the shade is going to be that light gray blue as opposed to white, or the highlight, whatever you call that. I don't. Science. Up on the top. Oh, there we go. Coming along. I should be singing, seeing as there's no songs here. No music playing. Alright, we can worry about that later, because that's going to be the bright white highlight. There we go. A little bit more over here. Okay. Working on this area. This won't really be difficult, but we want to be a little careful over here so it flows a little more. Let me just turn off my heater for a second, because it's actually quite warm. I hope I don't bump the camera. That was my commercial break. Okay, let's get on this part. Now, it is a bit bigger of an area, so I can use this brush here, which is, what is it, half a centimeter, if that. It's a little small hog hair bristle brush. I don't use super fancy brushes. I do for my teeny tinies. I like my teeny tinies to be good quality so they last. Now you can't see this, but the fur goes like this and then goes like this. So you got to know that. Oh, no, it's just Amazon recommending iPad holder stand arm things like I had before. I like how they recommend them after I've already had one. Well, no, it makes sense. I was looking again because mine broke. Okay, so remember the light color, the grayish. That's what we're going to do for these, and we'll add some yellowy highlights after. But we want the basics to be this, because that's what most of it would be. because I am trying to do a half decent job here to make it a little more on the realistic side instead of cartoony side. And sometimes one of the things with painting is it gets you got to be patient. I'm not generally an overly patient guy, but when it comes to this stuff, yeah, I think I'm pretty patient. I'm more patient with the funny. I'm more patient with the hard things, the simple things. Just like, why can't I get this right away? It's weird. Because it should be the opposite, right? Like the things that take so long, you would think you'd get more frustrated with, but now those ones not so much. Okay, I'm trying to go in the shape. It would go like this, right? It comes under the eyes, and that's why those streaks I see. That's how they go. Doggies with their faces. So I would have a good proper arm too, so I could have actually the camera here. Oh no, that's not so bad because I can zoom in, but anyway. Oh yeah, this shade. Just gonna. And by doing white on white, you can almost dab stroke it. Is that a term? Dab stroking. That's what I'm going to call it, dab stroking. Because I kind of dab, you know what I mean? That what I'm basically doing, if you were to slow it down, is, you know what I mean? So I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Dab stroking. Dab stroking. So again, I don't necessarily know what the proper ways are to do things, but I know it works for me. Dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke. Sing along. Dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke. One more time. Dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab. Oh God, you can't say that very fast. Dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke, dab stroke. It's the best I can do. I was about to lose it. I could feel it. Just kind of keep going over it until it kind of looks smooth. Once it's smooth, you got it. All right, I'm gonna put my brown and do some quick dab, so get it a little moist. And I'm gonna dab stroke with that grayish thing there because I want it to kind of flow nicely into that. You know what I'm saying, bro? This to me is one of the hardest things. Well, it's not so much hard, but you got to be patient, is all. Because people tend to make straight lines, but even dogs with patches, they're not straight lines. The fur intersects a little, right? So you kind of want it to look like it's going naturally. This is where some good dab stroking comes in handy. Yeah. It's coming along nicely. I'm actually quite happy with where this is going. Rinse that off a little. Just my blue-gray. There we go. Dip strokers. Alright, just even that up a bit because there we go. There's a little. That's now we're getting it. I'm going to use some of my warm black there because some of the colors start to fade from brown. There we go. There we go. Now let's get the darkness parts. What do you call those? Tones? I don't know. Just that's a few here. Being nice and subtle like this saves you so much time, because what's going to happen at the end, then you need very little to make it pop. There we go. So look, watch, when I go like this and I pull the brush off, it gives a nice tiny little point, right? So that's a great way to, almost out there. It's okay, I don't think I'll need. There we go. See? Boom. See how easy that is? Let's get a little under that ear because there would be a little bit of shadow play. Not much, but a little bit. There we go. How's it feel to know that? I don't know. I was just trying to make conversation. My head completely forgot what I was going to say. Damn, bro. Okay. All right. Now, with the exception of highlights, that section is basically done. Is my teeny tiny? Yeah. Oh, I put the other. It's not quite my teeny tiny. I lost my teeny tiny. And last time I went into Michael's, there was people standing in front of the brush section, and I didn't want to ask them to move because I don't know them. I don't know what they're gonna do. But they were talking like the brush section was a party place or something. All right. Then the eye. I'm gonna use the warm black to extend this just a tiny bit because the eye is a tiny bit bigger. There we go. I'm going to use the super black to get right close. There we go. Super black. Super black. Okay. Oh, super black. Teeny, tiny, teeny, tiny super black. Same here. Same here. It's tiny. See how little black you need when you use the warm blacks? And that looks so much more natural. I love it. All right. Starting to look like a dog. All right. Let us focus on highlighting the fur now. Oops. There's my. So I don't have a lot of space to work on this. Actually, seeing as I broke my computer screen and it's really annoying, because it's right in my face now. I'm going to, once I eventually get a new one, I am going to. Oh, comments? Let's see. Very interesting. Oh, we're looking great. Oh, thank you, complimenters of the world. Why can't I scroll back up? So dumb. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the way this camera thing is though. This is really ridiculous. Like my webcam, I look way more clear. But this camera should be way more clear there. This is really frustrating. I don't know if it's a settings thing or what, but that's not appropriate. Not for only something that's 2 feet away. So I'm gonna try to fix that after this video. In the meantime, we got work to do. Alright, so I'm gonna dry off a big brush here. This is a bigger one. So I like to go like the fur pattern's going this way. So I like to just take a little lightness. Now I'm not using white, I'm using the light gray. And it's very non-white, like there's not a lot on it, right? Oops, see? I don't want that much. And I'm basically going to use the tip only and just kind of stroke, right? Like, see, that's a lot already. So it's not quite dry brushing, but it's pretty darn close. Just the tip. Nice and light. And don't worry, like, if you overdo it in one spot or not. Like, we're not perfect. See? You just kind of go over it over again until you kind of get it. Now, I'm going to dab at this part because this is a part where the hair kind of does a thing. So I want a half decent separation there. Then I'll just pull it out like that with the tips again. See what I mean? Just go over nice and light. There we go. Look at that. And you want it to be, you know, parts of it to be like imperfect, like, you know, maybe it's a little brighter there, a little less there, because it's fur. It's not supposed to be a solid blob, right? So do the same down here. Am I doing it? Yeah, that's the direction. So always try to look the direction of the fur, and you'll get faster at this. Like, I can go like this now. I know it's going to be okay. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it out, 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 pull it out. All right, and now the fur is going a little funky over here. Scooch that over a little. What do we scooch? What a weird word scooch is. All right, and it goes this way here. Oh, up against the thing. So I'm not going to go too close because I want it to stay a little dark over there. But the hair's going in different directions, and that's why it's important to pay attention to that. But it is a dog neck, and it's all going down. But because the dog's neck is turned, which you can't tell in this picture, but yeah, like this isn't a side view. It's a straight on view of the dog, but its head is turned. And that's why some of the fur is kind of moving in different directions a bit. All right. Now dip it on my thing, and if you do it, like, I can still just dip on here nice and light because I don't need much, so I'm not wasting a lot of paint here at all. I'm gonna go in here and just kind of barely, gotta be very careful because remember, we're just using the tips here. It's a small area. There we go. And let's now, obviously we got a guide to where that, the way that's going there, right? Pretty obvious. It's kind of nice. Dip it again. Like the next layer will be a little brighter. Not too much though. Oops, don't go too high, Dave. And now the face. Face, it all kind of goes in this one direction basically. One Direction. I just made a band reference. I like that one song. And we danced all night to the best song ever. Something, 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 something. That's how much I like it. See how nice this is actually just coming along, just very naturally and subtle. See, now when I get that line there, because this dog definitely has a line of color there, but it doesn't look so unnatural. It flows quite nicely now because we got all the subtle little smoogies. Is smoogie a word? It's got the smoogies in there. All right, let that dry for a few minutes. It's pretty much always dry. Now we're gonna, this is where we're gonna use the purple. So we're gonna do the same concept up here, but we're gonna use a little bit of purple. And I'm out of things. What do I have? Wow, look at that, eh? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 different shades of colors and stuff. You know what? I'll just use the lid off of this one. So I'm going to take some purple and that light gray I told you about. There it is. Look at that. Look, it's just a slight variant. It's not much. There we go. It's just got a purple tinge to it, right? Because why not? And that's what we call red, yellow, blue. All right, there's the purple and the orange, and it's called the. Is that the contrasting color? Yeah, orange is the contrasting color of purple. Remember what I talked about contrasting colors, right? So get a little purple in there, and because this is kind of like an orangey brown, that's why I want to use the purple. See what I'm getting? Now they're just subtle little things, right? But oops, that's a lot. You know what? It's okay. I got baby wipes. There we go. So get a little more off that brush because we're dry brushing. All right. So there we go. That's a little better. Just be very gentle. But I like the bigger brush as opposed to the small, because if you use a small brush, I find what happens is you start to follow into a pattern, whereas the big brush, especially if you go like that once in a while, like there's just little bristles that are just kind of go their own way a little. So it's not. So it's. I feel it's just got a more natural look. You know what I'm saying? All right. It'll be very light. And just like the other sides with this part, let's go over it until you get it right. Like it's not a race, unless of course you're trying to outdo me. Then I'm gonna crush you. Just kidding. Am I though? All right. There we go. It's coming along nicely. Now remember, we've still got that brown color, right? So we're gonna go over this again after parts of it. But this is good. Look, this is gonna really blend this nicely. All right, now I'm going to keep this here because I can dry brush a little more. There it is. So remember these brushes? Get these ones. Now go back to some of that nice rusty orangey brown. Well, burnt sienna. It's not orangey. I don't know why I don't just call it burnt sienna one, but I mean orangey brown is nice. And just kind of lightly go over just near the edges. All right. So you just kill the solid line a little bit. You know what I mean? There we go. Basically shading. And I might as well use a little brush. It's in my hand. So just back with, and you're gonna back and forth, whatever you need. It's almost, oh, damn it, I had a key. Close this place. Thank you. Almost like a Rubik's Cube. Just keep going back and forth until you get it right. Now I'm gonna shade in a little with the purple. There, look at how, well, it's not really purple, gray purple. But look how much it's just nicely working. I love this. When I show it this on Facebook later, you're going to be like, it looks so much better because this camera is crap. Alright, so see how these colors are nicely, so nice. Hard to believe there's purple in there, isn't it? Dave is the purple wizard. Purpliness, purpliness, purpliness. Okay. Hi, I'm a dog. And don't forget, we got the eyelid. Bit of separation there, so just almost dab it. There we go. I can add some yellow highlight just a tiny bit after. We're almost done this, other than this thing, which would be a tiny bit of a pain, but not really a pain. All right, just throwing in little highlights there. Just make sure I got this right. Yep, I'm liking it. All right, let's more fur. Oh, now I gotta rinse my brush off. Darn, I should have had 2 of these brushes. You go there. Get that off because I want just all right, so super light gray. Remember that? This one, not the white. Super light gray, almost white. It's basically off white, but there's a tiny blue tinge to it. All right, and just repeat that again. Again, don't worry about that. We're going to come back to that if it's a little thick or it's a little thin. I'm just speeding up a little because I'm like basically at the end ish. Let's spread that out. Just remember, you're using the tip, right? Let's get over to this section. Give a little dab on the nose there. Just got a little nosy dab. Why do I talk like I'm 3? All right. That should pretty much do that. We're going to do the super highlights and then the little, because you want a couple little pieces of brightness and a couple little pieces of darkness, right? So, but for now, did I put my teeny tiny away again? Or pretty close to it? Where did it go? Oh, no, that's not it. Right, that's not it. Oh, found it. Alright, rinse that off, dry it off on your shirt. Alright. So now we're dealing with pure white. So don't do the whole thing white, just do a little. See that? And we're gonna go right up to the edge and pull up to the edge, up there, boom. Alright, now we're gonna go as thin as we can. Right? And we don't have to go all the way down, right? See how it just, our eye can see that light faint line now because we already got this. Like, so almost like an not an illusion, but okay, we'll do this now. Go. Up over there. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to tilt this painting in a moment. I'm going to highlight this, but not that part. Maybe just a little here. There we go. And more white. You can barely see the other ear on the other side, starting to crown a bit there. Boom. That's dried up a bit, so go again. Because I watered the white down a bit, so it's going to be like you gotta go over some of these a couple times. Little, oh, look at me, I got a nose. A boop. Give it a little boopy white. Cow. Then be like, whose little nose? Your little nose. All right. All right. Brighten up this buckle here. This is a barely see. I'm not going to do much there. Now this one, remember what I said earlier? Because it's a blue tone, so I'm going to just take a little blue. Where's that thing? A little blue and white. So my highlight's going to be level blue as opposed to yellow. Right? Again, super subtle, not a huge difference, but it is different. All right, look at me being an artist. All right, so that's nice. Now what I want to do, because I'm going to do a teeny tiny darker edge over here, I'm going to flip this upside down or sideways so I can rest my hand this way when I do that. And remember that darker gray? We're going to use that. We're just going to go over it to this, and it just so happens that the fur is going this way. My hand's going to go this way, right? So it's kind of perfect. But again, it's very light. You don't want a lot. It's just a... There we go. And I'm going to use a thicker brush after to pull it in a bit. Alright, now, where's my bigger brush? Doesn't have to be the super big one, just the medium big one. And we're just going to go over it just with the moist brush. I'm going to get a real big one. Where's my biggie go? There it is. Alright, and just go. Gotta do that when it's still moist. nice, yeah, nothing, doesn't jump out at you. It's just nice. This it gets a little scary because you're like, oh my gosh, what if I screw up now? I'm going to use the other brush, sorry. Yeah, so the dark gray, sure it's watered down a bit. Now we're going to just make a couple of, just nice and subtle. Can you see those? I wouldn't know because I can't tell if my camera's half decent now. There we go. I can see them quite nice. There we go. See what I'm saying, bro? Okay. So you don't have to make like a whole bunch of white highlights because we're not using any bright white here, right? Now we are going to put a tiny bit of white highlight, but what you want is just subtle colors. Because remember, if you have a light source over here that's causing a what's called edged lighting, then it's going to be darker here, right? And it's not going to be like super dark, but it's just going to be like a nice muted kind of gunmetal gray, bluish kind of thing going on. You know what I'm saying? As you can see here. I mean, I'm trying to capture it as best I can. So, a couple directional, we'll call these directional lines, right? See, you can just see how it goes with the fur. You don't have to do it all over, just a little bit, because your mind takes you there. There we go. This is quite nice. I'm actually quite happy with this, believe it or not. And I'm not just saying this because you're watching me. Alright. Alright, let's do the super highlights now. And the last bit will be just, that's going to be easy. Just a little tedious, but easy. Now, super whites. Oh my goodness. On the fur. Now, we don't want to go crazy, right? Just lightly. Just lightly. Just same thing with this. Water it down a bit. Yes, thanks for reminding yourself, Dave. And just same thing. Follow that pattern. Or the edge, right up to the edge. Pull it out. Maybe in between these guys. Couple of lines. Or not a lot because just a couple is enough to make the point. Is that the proper art term? Make a point. Direction. There we go. Pretty happy. Don't you go anywhere. Oh, I moved it. Is it lined up? Damn. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. little one. Let's do a couple little things that make it, you know, the little things like this. Okay, I'll just finish off this little. I'm gonna mix my teal with a bit of yellow, get that green again, and remember, we dull it down with a tiny bit of red. All right, let's paint this up. Paint those hearts in there. Now, before I paint the hearts, so people will often do this. I used to do this all the time, and this was a mistake. Like they would go, say, with this situation, paint in the little hearts. No, paint in the hearts after. Get the shading on the thing done first, right? So I'm going to use some of that warm black, which is almost completely gone. I'm just gonna put in there and just draw it out a bit. Just in a shade. All we're doing here. Go back here, same thing. A little more over there. There we go. Much. Shade, 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 shady McShade face. All right, and gonna be a little bit here. Now again, these are little details I can get because it's a half decent close-up shot, right? Wind's starting to blow. I don't like it. I want to lose power. All right. While that dries a bit, I'll just do the little tiny line, shadow line here. Too much. It's okay. I'm gonna do it up on the top too. And there's a tiny line, I guess, where there's a stitch. So I'm gonna make that tiny line. Again, with a good photo, when it's a close-up shot, these are the details you can bring to a pet portrait, which I think makes for I was about to say superior, but that sounded arrogant. What I mean is um, superior in the sense of you can just be more detailed with the dog. Like the little details that, like anybody has a dog collar, everybody has a dog collar, but I mean, I can see the hearts on this thing, so that's going to make it a little more special. And she's going to go, "Oh my God, you got the hearts on it," and I'll be like, "Yep, sure did." Okay, so now I'm going to, because they're also green, but I'm going to darken the green a bit so they just stand out a bit, right? So I'm going to add some of the ultramarine blue, and again a tiny bit of red. Oops, that didn't work out too well. A little more blue and yellow, Dave. Oopsie. See, when you go too far, you make an abundance of paint. Oopsie. That's okay. There we go. So this is like almost a forest green now. All right, now we can do the hearts. No problem. All right, I'm going to add a tiny bit of black to that. A little more yellow. And the light green, or light green. Now I'm going to make it really, it's technically not black, but it's dark enough to give some separation of the hearts. And that, my friends, is complete. I will send a picture on Facebook, and also I'm going to post this to Patreon. I do wish his camera was a little better for this. I don't get it. I got the one that was the good one. It was on sale too. It's normally $80, so it's like, how is $160 worth of camera? Because I got two. So I don't know if it's just something I've done wrong with the camera, like a focusing. I don't know, but I'll try to figure that out. But yeah, thank you so much for coming by to this. And oh, there's Nicole, another artist. I just ordered you a color wheel. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm going to post a picture on Facebook so you'll get a really good look at what it looks like. But thanks for coming by to a grown-up video where I'm all like, look at me being mature and not drinking and not swearing. But I hope you liked it. I hope you got some value out of this. The reason why I started with the outline, I mean, it's a custom dog. So there's no reason not to. The important part is you're going to learn your illustration skills over time. If you're going to follow along with this, I'm here as an artist. Other people are here. Other people are beneath. Like skill. Like we're all at different levels. But what matters more than the illustrative part is the way you work the painting, right? The shades of this, the strokes, all that kind of thing. That's the important part. Because with practice, your illustrations just automatically get better. So don't hyper focus on that part too much. So I'm gonna go. Oh, weird being a grown up, and there's still time to go be immature. But yeah, thanks for coming by, guys. I'm gonna stop this, and I'll post this on Patreon after. And yeah, Facebook doesn't get it. Yeah, well, some of you guys do because you're on Facebook, but I mean, it's that weird bleeding over to Patreon only. It takes a few steps. But anyways, guys, take care. I'm going to try to get used to staring straight at that because I can see the picture in picture. Looks a little awkward when my face is pointing this way.